NPL Grand Final. It all comes down to this for 2022. The big dance, the last dance of the year in Queensland's premier competition as Gold Coast Knights host Olympic FC here at Perry Park. A massive game, a fifth straight grand final for Olympic FC and Ben Khan. They haven't won one yet. Can they take home the chocolates tonight? Well, Scott McDonald in Australia, a Celtic legend, will be standing in their way in his first year of management. All that to come, a blockbuster grand final here at Perry Park, as we'll be joined by today's commentators, Simon Smale and James Coughlin.
Yeah, thanks very much, Cal. Fantastic atmosphere brewing at Perry Park under the lights on Queensland football's Day of Days. Simon Smale with you on the call alongside James Coughlin. James, always a special occasion, a grand final.
It does not get any better than this, and I can't describe it any better than the way Campbell did. It is a blockbuster. The crowd is filling out. It is going to be a special night as we've got a reunion of the 2019 Grand Final.
Yeah, these two teams have met in the Grand Final before. They've met twice in final series before, but before we get stuck into that, we'll have a look at the teams, starting with the team that finished second, the sixth team to reach the Grand Final from second spot, Gold Coast Knights, and not too many surprises in Scott McDonald's lineup. Max King, the mid-season signing from Robina. I doubt he would have expected to be playing in the National Premier League's Queensland Grand Final this season. There's some really key players in amongst that, particularly a very familiar face to Olympic fans.
Certainly, it's going to be a lot to try and shut down Jean-Philippe Lazem. He's the midfield marshal for Gold Coast Knights now, having done so for Olympic for so many years.
Well, earlier on, Cal caught up with Knights coach Scott McDonald. Let's hear what he had to say prior to kickoff.
Scotty, great opportunity. You were able to dismantle Peninsula Power last week at home. You're now on the road here in Brisbane to face Olympic. They've obviously been in 5 straight grand finals now. How big of a challenge is that for your side?
Oh, look, regardless of, whoever you play in a final, it's always a challenge, isn't it? And relatively new team put together this season from us. And it's the beginning of the journey, we feel, for the football club. So a challenge that we relish and we're really looking forward to. And like you said, Brisbane Olympic under Ben Khan, been here time and again. So, you'd have to say probably favourites in terms of probably from bookies' perspectives because they've been here before. But we're confident and we're really looking forward to the game and the occasion with all the great fans from both teams.
You finished in second, they finished in fourth, but a big opportunity. We've seen sides win it from fourth in the past. We've seen sides win it from second. How big is that for you guys in terms of confidence heading into this game?
Look, it's a one-off game. These finals can go either way. It's the team that wants it the most on the night. Both have got, talent and abundance in their squads, and there wasn't much between the top 4 this season, as proven. So I think, it's going to be up to, us to want it more and be the better players on the ball and, come into the game first. So here's hoping.
Best of luck for the game, Scotty.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Well, Scott McDonald alluded to it there. Olympic have been here time and time again. Overall, this is their 7th National Premier League's Queensland Grand Final, their 5th in a row. They have lost their last 5 in the decider. It's a lot of pressure to overcome. Cal spoke to Olympic coach Ben Khan just a few moments ago.
Here with head coach of Olympic, Ben Khan. Ben, you've managed to make it to 5 straight grand finals now. Unfortunately for yourselves, unable to get the chocolates on those occasions. But tonight, a whole new opportunity, as I'm sure you think about every single time you're in this occasion. What will change this year that you think will bring you over the line?
Oh, look, we've obviously reviewed the other four in depth and reviewed our process leading into the game. And look, we've done different things each year, so there's nothing that's consistently there that goes wrong. We just know we have to turn up on the day. The games go by in a flash; they fly by. We've got the experience now to deal with that. The boys are hungry. They've been unbelievable for 2 weeks, leading into this. So, if we get a bit of luck and things go our way and we turn up, we're confident we can get it done.
You were able to dismantle the Premiers last week. How big of a challenge did Gold Coast Knights present?
Huge challenge. They're a really good side, and I think that you can tell that Scotty's journey's evolved as the years gone on. They were quite open and probably not quite as strong as he would have liked them to be early in the year, but you can see their tactical evolution and their results have improved, and they've come storming home to finish second, and it's going to be a close game, a tough game with two really good teams.
Best of luck for the game, Ben.
Thanks very much, Cam. Cheers. Thank you.
We are just moments away from the two teams heading out onto the Perry Park field for the 2022 National Premier League's Queensland Grand Final. Olympic, well, it's a familiar feeling for them. This venue, a familiar feeling, but one that may contain some nightmares for them. 4 consecutive Grand Final defeats, and then add to that the 2014 defeat down at Palm Beach, and you have 5 Grand Final defeats in a row. But Olympic, they have established themselves as one of the top teams in the competition over the course of the 10 seasons of the National Premier League's Queensland. This is their 8th National Premier League's Queensland Finals appearance in those 10 years. Gold Coast Knights, though, they've only been part of the competition for 4 years, and this is their 3rd finals appearance and 2nd Grand Final. They are the only team to win the Grand Final from 2nd in the history of the National Premier League's Queensland. I'm Simon Smale, James Coughlin is alongside me. The teams are being led out by Zach Keenan, James Sherry and Oleg Labuz. And James, absolutely fantastic occasion, as it always is.
It is. It doesn't get better than a grand final, Simon, and you can just feel the buzz around Perry Park, no matter where you're taking it in from as well. 2 very vocal sets of fans, and it's going to make for a special Saturday night here at Perry Park as the teams make their way out to halfway.
Led so ably over the course of the season by Austin Ludwig and Steve White, both teams enjoying good wins last week. Olympic dramatically over the reigning premiers and of course defending champions Lions, whereas Gold Coast Knights slightly more comfortably over Peninsula Power. It is of course a solemn weekend. We will now be having a minute's silence for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, who died at the end of the week. Slight miscommunication. There will be a minute's silence, but not quite yet. The two teams are going to get acquainted with each other first and have their photos prior to this most momentous of matches. Some big names included in these teams, James, but no Mitch Nichols for Olympic. I almost said Gold Coast Knights there because, of course, he was such a key player the last time they won the title in 2019.
He was playing on one leg in 2019 as well and just dropped into that defensive midfield role. He switched to Olympic mid-season, but he's going to be a big presence to replace for Olympic.
Olympic have come in to this final series of a woeful run of form. 5 games without a win, only 1 in their last 7. But we'll get on to those sort of trivialities after we have the minute silence for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and our thoughts go out to all of those who are affected by this, including the people of Great Britain. Well, time for talking is over. National Premier League's Queensland Grand Final 2022 is just moments away. We spoke just briefly there about Olympics' bad run of form. They have managed to peak when they needed to, though. A big win against Lions at Lions Stadium last weekend, James.
And they certainly left it late as well. It was Zach Kierpal who's been almost relegated to a super sub role in the last few weeks, but he's taken to that like a fish to water, coming up with that 91st minute winner that caused the travelling Olympic fans to Lions Stadium to absolutely erupt. I'm sure they'll be hoping for more of the same tonight.
There's an interesting pattern with the way Olympics defeats have got in grand finals. Quite often, in fact, in all but one season, they have got revenge on the team they beat or got beaten by in the grand final the year prior in the next year's semi-final.
Well, we'll see if that trend holds tonight as well. And overall, in NPL finals, 7 wins, 6 losses, 25 scored, 24 conceded. Consistent at least.
Yeah, their biggest defeat in the grand final came last year against Lions, a 3-1 defeat. They're not the first team to have lost 5 grand finals in a row. Can you believe it? Strikers actually lost 5 grand finals in a row between 2007 when they were in the BPL and then the Queensland State League between 2008 and 2011. There is a history as well of Olympics forebears playing in 5 grand finals. Hellenic played 5 straight grand finals in the old Brisbane Division 1 between 1959 and 63. They won 2 of those. So Olympic, who of course arose from a couple of mergers involving Hellenic, will be hoping they can bring those supporters back home to the south side of Brisbane happy.
And you consider the way the last few years have gone.
We are underway at Perry Park, and a nice long ball and an easy first touch for Lockie Hunter to get under his belt and settle any nerves that the 21-year-old may have. There's Jean-Philippe Lasson, of course such a key player who we're accustomed to seeing in red. He's wearing the red of Gold Coast Knights at the moment. Some really good pace from Shannon Brady, who's been very good in the last few weeks. Another player who's very familiar to the opposition, having played for Gold Coast Knights for a couple of seasons. He wasn't able to capitalise on that situation. Matt Schmidt doesn't find much leeway down this near sideline either. You'd expect the opening few exchanges to be pretty tight and tough as Phil Lasson gets stuck in, and he is a disruptor in chief, James. He is one of those players that is almost impossible to get around and almost impossible to foul, although he will be kicked a fair amount, you'd expect, as he always seems to be in these matches.
I have never seen Phil Larsen get tired in a match as well. And despite, he's not the biggest player, but he just keeps going and going and going.
And there's Max Brown as well, a key playmaker in the middle
For Gold Coast Knights over the last few years as well.
He's been in great form as well. Max Brown scored a couple of decent goals, in fact scored against Olympic in their round 21 meeting, a 2-2 draw. Mitch Nichols actually scored for Olympic in that game, and Takiro Okada. And it was Gianni Da Silva with a thunderbolt that opened the scoring in that game as well. In the previous match between these two teams, Olympic won by 4-1, and that continues something of a trend. Olympic unbeaten in their last 6 meetings and have won 4 of the last 5. So, in recent years, in any case, it is Olympic who have the upper hand. As the ball gets swept in and it's still pinballing around. Steve White, very casual. And Pasquale De Vita You don't want to give him too many opportunities. It's still alive for Gold Coast Knights, and Max King, who gets a cross in. It's another good one, and rising highest was Daniel Driver to get the ball, or at least flick the ball away off the top of his head. The free kick belatedly given by Zach Keenan, refereeing in his second straight National Premier League's Queensland Grand Final, the vastly experienced Sunshine Coast referee. Have a look at that replay again. And there's the first foul. Pretty solid no-nonsense shoulder from Austin Ludwig. Expect a few of those challenges to go in the opening exchanges, but Olympic are going to try and capitalise here with Saros. Brady just couldn't quite wrap the foot around to keep the ball under his control.
It is almost an embarrassment of riches for Ben Kahn up front as well, where you are able to leave the likes of Zach Kierpal on the bench.
Daniel Leckie is going to be huge tonight as well. A couple of years ago.
He's been vital, hasn't he? Kierpal coming off the bench, that winner. And then talk about drama. It was an extraordinary game, an extraordinary result for Olympic, who, again, have been poor at the end of the home and away season. 7 matches, only 1 win in that time.
Well, they save their best for finals. They do have plenty of experience at this time of year and know how to flick that switch as well.
They've gone with a couple of familiar faces as well. Kumanow, who's been around the side for quite a while.
There's a lot of players with a lot of experience in this team, particularly in playing for Olympic. Plenty with or at and around that 100 appearance mark. That's lovely skill from Pasquale De Vita. Filthy stuff from the Italian. Lovely ball forward, just inviting Polyak into it. Managed to get a cross in, didn't quite fall for De Vita. Still there for the Knights though, and King, he's battling, wants to spray the ball out wide, and Tyson Martin was unavailable to receive it. That's good perseverance there from Polyak, managing to get that cross in. I think he was probably second best, but how about the skill from that man there, Pasquale De Vita, a brilliant signing for Knights this year, because he was so good for South West Queensland Thunder. He was there a couple of years and really turned Thunder into a proper football team, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, he and Mirko Crociati, the Italian duo, up the ranges in Toowoomba. It was so good for South West Queensland, and De Vita, he's now made the move to Gold Coast Knights, and it's fair to say he's loving life at the Croatian Sports Centre right now.
He's a player that on his day is
Arguably one of, if not the best in the competition. He's one of the most dangerous players with the ball at his feet. Did score last week as well. Pen power, plenty of fits.
Yes, it was from the spot. Gold Coast Knights third, and they were well worth that 3-1 victory last weekend.
They absolutely were. They came out with a plan, executed it to perfection,
and it's worked out quite well, but they could be on the back foot now as Langdon gets off his line and able to clear that one away.
Langdon's not afraid of coming off his line to make those cut downs and stop the ball from coming through. Has been caught out on occasion in doing that, and he will have to be alert against some players with serious pace, particularly Shannon Brady, who's electric. We've got Cam Johnson on the sideline. Atmosphere sounds absolutely electric. Cam, what can you tell us?
I was just about to say that, Simon. The Greeks are giving it the big one with the drum. The Croatians are getting the accordion out. Oh, what an evening for football down here at Perry Park. It's getting loud, it's getting lively. There's plenty of storylines at play tonight. Obviously, that 2019 Grand Final. We've mentioned Jean-Philippe Lazem, how he's obviously played in the red of Olympic, now in the red of Gold Coast Knights. He played on that day, and the same can be said the other way around with Shannon Brady going in the other direction. Played for Gold Coast Knights during the 2019 season, and now he lines up. He scored last week, and geez, I tell you what, there's nowhere else you want to be in Queensland, in Brisbane, than Perry Park right now.
Well, Campbell, we'll let you go get an instrument in a second as Olympic prepare for this corner. I just want to ask you quickly, though.
I think I'll play the triangle, mate.
That's about my level of musical ability too. But I just want to ask as well, like, how are the benches going early on? It looks like Ben Kahn's been pretty active.
Yeah, so Ben Kahn, active as always, barking instructions. We'll let this play out here.
Cross comes in, it's still pinballing around. Kumaneo making a nuisance of himself. Couldn't wrap his foot around the ball and it will be behind for a goal kick, but a real warning shot across the bows from the Olympic side.
Yeah, so Ben Khan up and about, on his feet, barking instructions as usual. Always productive, always informative for his side, letting him know how he wants them to play, where he wants them to go. Scott McDonald, reserved, calm, composed. I was chatting to him off air prior to the game, prior to when we had a chat earlier. I said, mate, nervous, how you feeling? He said, oh, look, I'm not feeling nervous, I don't have to play. I feel for the players who have to be on this stage. Obviously, himself a accomplished footballer, such a big name in Australian football. He's not feeling the nerves, he's calm as a cucumber.
Which is funny when you think about it as well, because, you know, I will always be more nervous when I'm not playing. So at least if you're out on the field, you can do something about the result. Here, you're just watching and seeing it happen. So interesting approach there from Scott McDonald on the sideline, as Olympic now trying to get in behind once again, Simon.
Really good ball towards Shannon Brady, and we spoke about his pace earlier, and it took a really good tackle to marshal that ball out. And that's an uncharacteristic mistake from Dan Leck. Excellent crowd at Perry Park. The supporters have been somewhat segregated. You can see the Gold Coast Knights supporters proudly displaying their colours to the left as you see play. Olympic supporters are on the opposite side of the dugout. Cam Johnson in between the two. And no doubt he'll be getting the full force of that rivalry between these two teams, a rivalry that really has developed over the course of their interactions in the National Premier League of Queensland.
It certainly has, and these are two sides that both expect success. They both expect to be in this game every single season as well. And you look at the way both of these clubs have built their squads, the key players are the ones that have been recruited in the last couple of years. A lot of the key players, I beg your pardon. You know, look at the likes of Ludwig, who came in middle of last season. Scott McDonald with some shrewd signings as he rebuilt a Knights squad that did finish 6th last year. Certainly well below the standards of what they would expect at Carrara. And he's brought in some key players as well. You know, the likes of Nick Merkovich, Tyson Martin. I'm a big fan of Martin as a player as well, as he's made the move from Brisbane City, and he's taken to that central midfield role so well. And here he is on the ball now, just sizing it up, waiting to see where he goes. But Martin is such a huge figure as well. And when you've got Larsson buzzing around him as well, Larsson might be called on to cut out this attack as Leck goes forward.
Just the final ball missing there. Another of the new signings, Janiel Da Silva, making his way up north from Altona Magic. Another key signing as well, who was actually sent off against Olympic back in round 10. He more than made up for that with his strike in round 21. So when you consider there was that send-off in round 10, the 4-1 victory for Olympic, Keegan Yelisic getting 2 goals before he was snapped up by an A-League men's side, and of course players making that next step up. We've got plenty of players in these squads who have got that experience of playing at a higher level. And it's interesting to know what we can take from that, as Matt Schmidt just gets his angles a little bit wrong.
Pressure being put on Lockie Sayers there. He's able to get it out for Shelford-Deus. And there he is in midfield, just pinching the ball.
It's more lovely stuff from De Vita, and a wild effort from the Italian goes high over the crossbar. Nevertheless, the fancy footwork from Pasquale De Vita, you can't take your eyes off him, can you, James?
No, it's pretty much shoot on sight for De Vita.
He's built a pretty solid resume, not only here in Queensland, but featuring for some decent sides over in Italy as well.
He has. He had a really good couple of spells in his homeland before making the trip to Queensland. And again, having experienced a couple of Italian winters, I can totally understand why he might want to. Janiel gets up, the Brazilian centre-back. Multicultural feel to this encounter and this occasion. And we're speaking about Tyson Martin just before, a second straight grand final for him, of course, after winning the double in the FQPL with Brisbane City last year. Brisbane City, who, despite being in danger of being relegated towards the end of the season, actually finished 5th in the National Premier League's Queensland. Shows just how tight the National Premier League's Queensland is, as Dan Driver plays a rather tight pass of his own before Olympic are forced into a rather rushed clearance. It will be picked up by Ludwig at the back. And now Knights will once again build some pressure, or at least attempt to, on the edge of the Olympic penalty area. That was lovely work from Max King. Beautiful skill, beautiful cross, and Lockie Hunter read it all the way. An excellent take from the keeper, and Okada now is going to try and release Shannon Brady. No flag for the Olympic flyer. Outside of the boot pass, probably a little bit flamboyant to try and find Costa Saros. As Tyson Martin goes down and the pressure is released, you can perhaps get a sense what Steve White thought about the decision and perhaps what Tyson Martin was saying. We'll have a look at the replay. Oh, I might have just had his ankles clipped. I'm not entirely sure it was worth anything more than a free kick, which is what I imagine Tyson Martin was trying to incite from the referee.
Yeah, this early in the grand final, maybe just trying to put a few ideas in his head for later on as well. You know, you always say you need a good lawyer on your football team.
Well, Zach Keenan is an excellent referee, and you certainly need one of those in grand finals.
That's why he's got the game.
It sure is. He's probably one of the best players outside of the A-League men's panel. I'll sort of stick my neck out and say that, and I know it's not fashionable to credit referees, particularly this early in a game without any major incidents so far, but I think with Zach Keenan I'm willing to stick my neck out.
Understandably.
White dispossessed by former teammate Phil Lassam.
You're saying that a fair bit tonight, I feel, Simon.
I might just record myself saying it and add a button on our little display here, because that's what he does. He just interrupts passages of play and starts moves for his new side, Gold Coast Knights. As we approach 14 minutes, still 0-0 at Perry Park in the decider. Very high looping cross, slightly over-enthusiastic from Jaden Walker, the 26-year-old right back, who again is a real key player, and that is what they are all playing for today. No, not Janiel Da Silva. The trophy in amongst the maze of bodies.
You mentioned Jaden Walker. He went off early last week with a little bit of a knock, so it is good to see him out on a pitch tonight as well. He's
important. He's very important for Gold Coast Knights. Gets up and down quickly. He actually dislocated his shoulder at Goodwin Park last season from memory and was out for a couple of weeks. And that, wonder whether or not that impacted Knights' run towards missing the finals. As approach the byline, it will be a goal kick.
With the way Gold Coast Knights play, those fullbacks are so important. Not only Jaden Walker, but on the other side, Matt Schmidt. And they have at times had to call on Luke Beckwith as well, who's featured in 21 games for Knights this season. Good
player as well, Luke Beckwith. Scored against Olympic in 2021, I think. Check my notes. Might have even been a little bit before that. Yes. That was in fact earlier this season in the 4-1 defeat. Here is Polyak. Polyak, decent cross, headed away by Driver. Can get a glow off his peroxide locks from quite a long way out. It's an incisive pass from Phil Lassam and into space for Matt Schmidt. First time cross is an awkward one, and it's difficult for Hunter. Free kick is given. And goalkeepers do tend to get a little bit of protection in those situations, but it did look like he was being blocked off on that occasion. The replay will tell us more.
You see the cross coming in. Hunter just blocked off in the end, but I think that might have been De Vita in the middle.
It was Pasquale De Vita, and you know, you should referee what you see rather than the players. But with Pasquale De Vita, you do wonder. There's a lot of game knowledge and in his brain, and I wonder whether or not that might have played a role, because he did look like he knew what he was doing by backing into the keeper there. This is neat interplay from the Italian, although he can't receive the pass back. Steve White disrupting, but it's been all Gold Coast Knights in terms of possession in this opening 16 and a half minutes.
And Olympic just seem like they're happy to sit back and soak up the pressure, which, when you consider the balance of their team, it's a little bit surprising.
Space for Schmidt on this near sideline. Another teasing cross, and it was in between the two Knights jumpers. I believe it was Danny Driver who managed to get his head to it. A long-range shot, it bobbled on this Perry Park surface, and Lockie Hunter, who had already gone down, was grateful that it bounced just before him.
And I think he almost was expecting that to come in with a little bit more pace on it, and it was just there lying in wait, quite literally.
Shelford Dias with a little bit of a flourish there that drew some ooze from the crowd, but the move breaks down once more, and Pasquale De Vita has a little bit of space in which he's able to operate in. Two canny operators, Pasquale De Vita and Steve White. And Steve White gives away the free kick. Already conceded a couple of those sorts of free kicks, this time against his opposite number, Max Brown, as he tried to burst into space. Might have perhaps anticipated a little bit more from Lockie Sayers in terms of disruption.
Hill is filling up nicely as well. Second part of a double header today.
My spies on the hill do tell me that the atmosphere is absolutely superb at Perry Park this evening. Pasquale De Vita, very, very long way out. I don't anticipate he's going to go for goal here. It'll be a neat little dinked chip towards the edge of the penalty area. It's flicked on. Max Brown is there. So too is Austin Ludwig, and it's going to be a corner kick.
Martin just stirring up the fans, trying to get a little bit more noise.
The accordion comes in.
Superb colour. It's Pasquale De Vita and Max Brown, both almost getting in each other's way, but Dan Driver, the key person, who managed to get in the way there, and Janiel has managed to hit them from distance, and they've nestled in the top corner. There's 2 goals for the season. Corner is taken short. Not really a fan of a short corner, but Knights will have a chance to rectify their mistake. Ball coming off Shelford Dias.
Especially when you've got someone who's so good at a dead ball like Ante Poljak.
Exactly right. You want the ball in the mixer, don't you? Although there's not an enormous amount of height in either of these teams, really. Ludwig's going to make a nuisance of himself. But it is Tyson Martin, I think, who's giving the free kick away.
For a shirt pull based on the signal from Mr. Keenan.
Just trying to get amongst it. These Gold Coast Knights players. And a good start to the grand final from the team from down the M1. It is still goalless though. Approaching 20 minutes. This Driver switches play, or at least tries to. It's going to come straight back. Pasquale De Vita has a lovely touch, take the ball away from White. And again, perhaps taking note of the fact that the surface is a little bit uneven and inconsistent. Shoots low. Hunter did really well just to gather.
And you do wonder as well, Simon, the players were here for the turnover.
White in trouble. It gives or wins a free kick, and it's Tyson Martin again who just gets a little bit too physical, and Steve White saying, look, that probably wasn't the right option. Maybe don't give it to me in that situation again, because Max Brown was right there. And Knights had numbers. Free kick over on the far side, back live now. This time Martin is fouled.
They're starting to stack up these free kicks as well, and you wonder how long before maybe there's a bit of a warning from Zach Keenan, the referee.
Oh geez, it was Janiel De Silva over on that far side who was just shouldered off the ball, or at least attempted to be shouldered off the ball by Shannon Brady, and then he stuck the boot in to make sure of the job. Substitutes warming up. Will they be pouring onto the field in celebration? A deep cross, Ludwig heads it back inside. Oh, it might be an opportunity for Max King, but he won't want to see too many replays of that. Might still land for Poljak though. He can't bring it under his control, and an opportunity for Lockie Sayers to play the ball out, but they're trying to be a little bit tighter, and they've turned the ball over again, Olympic. Lassam twisting and turning, gets the ball to Poljak, who lays it off to Martin. Space on this near side for Schmidt. He's closed down very quickly by Shelford Dias. And Knights retain possession. Cam Johnson, what do you have for us?
Yeah, so something we'll see throughout this game, we've seen it at the start, and I was discussing it with Ben Kahn pre-game, is that front three for Olympic. They might rotate a bit. We see Shannon Brady through the middle as we'll let this play through now.
Pasquale De Vito on the edge of the penalty area. It's a good block from Driver. There was what looked like a foul possibly on Jaden Walker slightly earlier on in that passage of play. Zach Keenan ignored it, and Olympic are going to come upfield, and then another Knights player has gone down. It's Jaden Walker again, so I'm not quite sure what he's done to upset the Olympic players. And that's something that Zach Keenan's going to have to keep an eye on. We'll get a great view of it here from the sideline cam.
Yeah, it's brilliant down here at ground level. That front three again, Costa Saros now on the right. He started the game through the middle. Now Shannon Brady occupying that place. Takuru Okada mainly keeping his place on the left. So that'll be one to watch. And obviously the man on the bench, Zach Kiepel, scored the winner last weekend. Had a great season last year for Moreton Bay United.
Here's a flick on Max Brown. It's the opening goal in the grand final. You can't say it hasn't been coming. Sorry to interrupt you, Cam. It's an excellent goal. It was a beautiful flick on. And Max Brown, who is in goal-scoring form, he scored against Olympic in round 21. He scored in the semi-final last weekend. He scored in the grand final, and he's given Gold Coast Knights the lead.
And what a finish it was as well. Brown, from close range, just burying his chance past Lockie Hunter. And boy, aren't the Knights supporters loving that.
Flares. Hopefully safe smoke flares. It's a brilliant flick on by Pasquale De Vita. The Olympic defence absolutely nowhere. It's telling that it was Steve White who was chasing back there and was the last man and closest man to Max Brown when he put the ball in the back of the net. But it was just a little bit too easy. A clever run. Shelford Dias just went the wrong direction, really. It drew Matt Mundy out. It's just an excellently worked goal for the Knights, and it's exactly what they deserve based on what we've seen so far. Olympic hoping to hit back straight away, but Janiel da Silva just getting a little bit physical over in the corner against Shannon Brady.
And, you know, you mentioned Max Brown scoring in the semi-final. It was a much cleaner hit this time around, where last week it was just a little bit of improvisation as well. So that is just, his confidence must be sky high right now, Max Brown.
This is 9th goal of the season, and I think I'm right in saying the vast majority of those have come in the last couple of months. Dias, who might have been slightly out of position when that cross came in, has gone on a bit of a mazy run. Shelford Dias, that wasn't too bad. Looking from our angle, in the end, the ball just drifted wide of Josh Langdon's goal. And again, other than in the opening exchanges, that's really the first shot that Olympic have really managed to muster. And Cam, I know you were talking about the Olympic front three switching places and trying different angles of attack. They need to get the ball first.
Yeah, they certainly.
Here that we've lost Cam. Free kick goes against the Knights. Well, the grand finals tend to be relatively close affairs. And opening goals are key.
There's one last note on Max Brown as well. By my count, that is his 3rd goal for Knights against Olympic, making him the club's leading scorer against Olympic as well. So,
key contributor for Scott McDonald and his predecessors in the Gold Coast Knights managerial role. Saros gives away the free kick.
Yeah, Costa Saros just getting a little bit physical there, and there might have been a little bit after this as well. And it's important for Knights that they keep their head in these situations, and of course Olympic need to do the same. It will be physical, there will be plenty of niggle you'd expect, and again you see a little pull back there from Matt Schmidt, what the referee didn't see on Shelford Dias, and it takes a fair amount of physicality to bundle Shelford Dias off the ball. Has been given as a Gold Coast Knights throw-in.
Shelford Dias, Mr. Fix-It, he's played pretty much everywhere this year.
Schmidt went down, looked like he made a bit of a meal out of that, and Dan Lex letting him know that. Again, niggly, frustrating. It's exactly what Gold Coast Knights want this game to descend into, especially now that they have a 1-goal lead. They want Olympic to beat themselves.
And, you know, that you hate to bring it up, but you've got the last 4 years to draw on in terms of experience as well. You know that Olympic, they will try and counterpunch at some point as well, but if you can try and kill the game off early, I mean, that just makes life a whole lot easier.
Long, long way to go in this National Premier League's Queensland Grand Final. Not even half an hour gone in this one just yet. Olympic, the most experienced team in terms of finals in National Premier League's Queensland history. This is their 15th finals match. And of course, their 7th grand final, as Matt Mundy is charged into by Matt Schmidt. And there's been a little bit of incident in that corner that's been ongoing for the last little while. It wasn't Matt Schmidt who bundled into him in the end, apologies. It was Max King. So maybe the referee just saying, right, now's probably the time, lads, that we calm things down a little bit and not do anything silly. We're so early on in this National Premier League's Queensland Grand Final.
Sure, and I think based on how the FQPL Grand Final earlier this afternoon went, Simon, I almost say no lead is safe. There's a bit of high foot there.
Well, now there's a little bit of verbals from Martin towards Dan Leck. We'll keep our eye on that, and I think Dan Leck has just gone in on Martin off the ball, and it's only a yellow card. But if it's off the ball and it's behind play, then you wonder what's going on, and there's a real flashpoint early here, and heads are being grabbed and posturing, and people are being thrust out the way, and a real job here now.
And I think that is officially boiling point now, Simon. It's just happened off the ball, as we can see here on the replay.
We just missed it on our camera. Zach Keenan.
In no doubt.
Oh, and then there's a little word there from Kostasaros as well. This is silly from Olympic. They don't want to descend into this already. It seems crazy just 20 minutes in, and there's so much afters there as well.
And Polyak going in from behind on Danny Driver as well.
Martin is actually holding his face.
Which does leave you wondering exactly what happened.
We didn't get a view of it on the camera, unfortunately. Kostasaros is pleading his case, and now Austin Ludwig is saying maybe not. He's feeling the back of his head.
Discussion with the assistants could be key here, because you do have the 2 assistants and the 4th official.
There's 4 sets of eyes, aren't there? Ola Glabaz, James Sherry, both coming in. The wash up here is a yellow card to Dan Leck and a free kick to Gold Coast Knights, but I think you're kidding ourselves if we think that's the end of that. Let's see what started that. Slightly high boot there, and then Dan Leck went down. Tyson Martin offered his opinion on whether Dan Leck should have gone down, and then off camera, Dan Leck runs away and Martin's on the ground. Back live now, Pasquale De Vita wins a corner off Shelford Deas as Gold Coast Knights go hunting for a second and look to put that behind them.
Yeah, and you know, Dan Leck, last season's grand final as well, did kind of lose his head at the end here, as you see De Vita with some magic. Once again, he's so good with the ball at his feet.
You just love to see it, don't you? He's one of those players that you want to watch play every single second you can. Excellent to see.
You just know something's going to happen. It might not always be good, but something is going to happen when De Vita's got the ball at his feet.
And it quite often is good. Well, another little late incident there, and Kostasaros, I think, has been pinged for clashing into Austin Ludwig. Looked like just a contact injury more than anything else. We'll get a great view of it here. You'd expect Ludwig looking to play the ball forward. Saros steaming in. Oh, just 2 knees colliding. Not a lot in that, but the referee sees that it was Kostasaros who was behaving recklessly and charging in, and he made contact. Then the free kick is given, and it's a free kick in a very promising position for Knights. A bit of a false start from Schmidt. He goes again. Oh, it's a really good ball, headed away nicely by Steve White. And now Dan Leck is going to be closed down by King. Gets rid of the ball quickly up towards Shannon Brady. Brady tries to put the ball into the middle, does so. An opportunity for Kostasaros. Finds Deus. Deus under pressure. And that's a great tackle from Pasquale De Vita, but Deus recovers and Saros goes down, and a free kick right in front of the Olympic bench. And you bet your bottom dollar that they're letting the refereeing team know that that was a free kick their way this time.
And a phenomenal bit of restraint just as the whistle went as well from Shelford Deus.
See him battling here, going in, winning the ball back. Just following it there, and right
As the whistle went, he's stopped his foot.
Would have been very interesting had he managed to continue his swing right in front of the fourth official as well. That's a really good ball. Oh, and Langdon came a long way out, and he did really well in the end to deny Shannon Brady.
Almost caught Brady in two minds there. Do I chip? Do I try and go around? And just showed enough of the ball for Langdon to get a foot on it.
Huge risk from the 23-year-old to go so far out of his goal. Nevertheless, it did have the desired effect on former Raw man Shannon Brady. Indeed, former teammate. Perhaps he knows something that we don't from training.
I always say you don't want to think too much in these situations. Not to suggest that footballers might be a little bit simple, but I'll just stop now before I dig myself in a further hole.
Knights try and make Olympics hole a little bit deeper, but they need to try and get out of. Poliak couldn't latch onto the end of that. Mundy and Driver combining well just to nullify the threat of the former Peninsula Power man. He's been around the traps a little bit by Green Gully, having previously played for Easts up here in Queensland. It's the Olympic supporters leaning on that fence. Knights want a free kick. They're not going to get it. Brady pass was just behind Leck. He'll have the throw in though, and will take it quickly to White. Brady again, and that time it's come off a Knights player, much to the displeasure of Tyson Martin, who didn't think that that was the case.
made his case.
Leck. It's a loose pass trying to find Takira Okada, who I haven't mentioned too many times in this match. Pasquale De Vita just getting the ball caught up as Lockie Sayers battles, and so too does Leck. Leck goes down, bundled off the ball. No free kicks. There's a referee who was right on the spot. Ball played forward towards Polyak, all the way through to Lockie Hunter. Settled down a little bit now after that flashpoint. Perhaps that flashpoint is exactly what Olympic needed, just to dispel all the tension and the negative thoughts that must be flowing through them, having gone 1-0 down.
Well, naturally as well, and they do seem a lot more assured on the ball in the last 5 minutes as well. They're hitting their passes with a bit more conviction, and they will get their chances to try and test Josh Langdon.
Much more coherent, but that was a pass that's gone astray, straight to the foot of Tyson Martin. He's going to have a little charge now, can't thread the needle to find Polyak, but wins the rebound in any case and uses Jaden Walker. Now Phil Lassen. Pasquale De Vita, always a danger. Dias gave him a little bit of a shove in the back and wins the turnover.
I don't think the nickel has completely gone out of the game, Simon.
No, I think it'll take a lot more than that as Martin went charging in. Olympic come up with the ball, Leck on halfway. Gold Coast Knights leading Olympic by a 0 with 10 minutes remaining in the first half. National Premier League Queensland Grand Final 2022. Simon Smale, James Coughlin in the booth. Campbell Johnson on the sideline at Perry Park. It's been a fearsome encounter so far as Janiel can't get that ball and keep it in control. A much more assured last 5 minutes, Cam, for Olympic.
Yeah, certainly that yellow card to Dan Leck, that tension that was rising and building has all kind of dispelled that, and we've seen Dan Leck be awarded cards in grand finals, was sent off late in the grand final last year, but now they seem to be playing, James said it just before, with a little bit more conviction, and it all starts at the back with these two, particularly Dan Driver partnering Matt Mundy. He has this ability to play out at the back that is so crucial to the way Olympic want to play.
little bit of collateral damage there on Steve White from Max Brown. Cam, did you see the incident involving Dan Leck and Tyson Martin, or like us, did you only get a glimpse of it out of the corner of your eye?
Yeah, it was a pretty innocuous kind of collision of the players. It didn't seem like anything too bad at the moment, but it's something that we certainly see from Dan Leck from time to time. Obviously, we'll let this play here, but he's a top player in this competition, but he is a fiery one, that's for sure. He's one of those players you want to have on your side, but you hate to play against him. He's such a competitor. And of course, Tyson Martin playing against his former side as well. So lots of feeling out there for all players. And so just kind of bubbling up into that point there.
Janiel almost putting the ball into the back of his own net after that rather speculative forward free kick from Danny Driver. It's given Olympic a corner in front of a large number of their own supporters at the YMCA end of Perry Park. Acrobatically headed clear by the Brazilian. Costasaurus on the edge of the penalty area. He's challenged, goes down, no free kick. Pasquale De Vita trying to tee up Phil Lassam. That's a flying tackle from Shelford Dias. He needed to make contact with the ball and did so superbly. Brilliant work from Shelford Dias.
And I thought for a second he'd actually won the throw-in, but Mr. Keenan overruling the decision of his assistant, saying it is going to be a throw-in for Gold Coast Knights. But how good was that challenge as well from Dias? Another one he had to get inch perfect.
I think the right decision was made in the end, although that Keenan did look like he was slightly unsighted, so interesting that he was able to make the decision. The reaction of Dias might have helped. That's a good reach from Polyak with the boot. Pasquale De Vita, he's got fast feet, but not fast enough to take the ball away from Danny Driver, who finds a Carter, and now a through ball to find Costasaurus. Saros had Brady with him. Good challenge from the skipper, Austin Ludwig.
And just showed a little bit too much of the ball to Ludwig there with the ball through, but well measured by a Carter. I just thought maybe if he could have, on that second touch, I think he was trying to play through Shannon Brady.
Good cross in from Saros, a bit too deep. It's behind for a goal kick, is it? No, it's not. Nervous faces on that Olympic bench. Some game changers on there, seeing Cuba. And of course, Zach Kierpel.
Which is also why you would say that 1-0 lead, certainly nothing you would consider safe.
How about the footwork there from Phil Lassam?
Not just a defender.
Finds Pasquale De Vita in space. And that is exactly where you don't want to find Pasquale De Vita if you're a defending team. Through the legs of Okada, gets a roar from the crowd. If nothing else, good ball. Polyak to the byline and waiting, and still waiting is Max Brown. It was taken off his foot and behind for a corner. Brilliant defence, last ditch defending from Olympic. My goodness me, it was a beautiful ball. Excellent work once again from Anthony Polyak. And a ball from Walker is inch perfect, perfectly weighted.
And that is what Walker brings to this side as well, and why getting him back healthy for this game was so important. He measured that, he knew exactly where to put it for Polyak, and while it didn't result in a goal, it was a great save there by Hunter, I think it was, to put his body on the line.
It was, there were plenty of defenders there, but it was the goalkeeper, Lockie Hunter, who has been beaten once. Hope to not have that replicated from this corner. Oh, the header is beaten Hunter, but it doesn't beat Shelford Dias on the line. Oh, brilliant defending from the Olympic fullback.
And he had to come up big again, Dias.
Yeah, he's nominally a fullback tonight, and he's earning every dollar.
Uncontested header from Ludwig, and I think he would have been already celebrating.
Question marks over the defending from Olympic, but you can't question Shelford Dias, perfectly positioned. Another corner comes sweeping in that time. It was Kumineo who managed to get the ball clear. An opportunity perhaps for Shannon Brady to put Schmidt under pressure. A little slip there from Walker. He's managed to do really well to get the ball back, and it's going deep again. Driver is forced to header. There's the man of the moment, Shelford Dias, under pressure from Pasquale De Vita. Manages to get the ball away. That's really neat football from Olympic. deserve a lot of credit for that great composure, and Costasaurus needs a runner on the outside. In the end, it is Kumineo who puts a deep, raking ball in towards Okada. He was beaten to it by Ludwig.
And that did come
a
off.
handball. James, you spotted it.
It's a little subtle reach out there by Max King, thinking maybe he can get away with it. Natural, unnatural position. However the rule book is written today.
If you reach for it, it has to be considered an unnatural. We'll have an excellent look at it on the replay here. Well, absolutely.
It's chicken wing.
Bent the elbow. Right on the spot with Zach Keenan, and you can have no complaints. And that's a really silly error, particularly when you've got a player of the set piece potential of Dan Driver standing over the ball, Steve White too, waiting for it. It's going to be Driver delivering the ball into the penalty area. It's pinballing around. Costasaurus wants a runner, goes back to White. Now Kumineo. Kumineo, though, he was a bit too casual in trying to find Matt Mundy, and it will be a throw-in to Olympic, who probably would have hoped for a little bit more. Okada, clever from Okada. That's really clever from Okada. Was Shannon Brady offside? The assistant says no, despite the Gold Coast Knights all saying yes. Okada once again getting the ball from the throw-in. He's suddenly live and into this game, but can't get the ball past Max Brown. Does make the half challenge on Tyson Martin. It'll be a Knights throw-in.
An Olympic, they're trying to break down Gold Coast Knights, but I can't think of any clear-cut chances they've had. However, in a positive for them, Takeru Okada, he has come into the game a little bit more in the last 10 or so minutes.
DeVita has Schmidt on the overlap. Dias closing him down and off balance. Still managed to find King. Somewhat fortuitously, I think, there from Schmidt. Knights regroup with their centre-back and skipper, Austin Ludwig. Schmidt. DeVita closed down quickly by Lockie Sayers. He goes back to Janiel. And now Walker. Walker back inside to Lassen. Walker can't get the cross past Okada, and it came off Walker's head. It will be an Olympic throw-in with about 60 seconds remaining before the half-time break.
We may have a couple of minutes of stoppage time added on as well after that little melee where Lek received the yellow card.
Interesting to see how much time is added on actually at the end of this first half. I think it'd have to be at least a couple, maybe even 3 or 4 minutes. You don't often see in the first half of matches, but there was a significant delay as a ball is lost to the roof. And the Olympic supporters are sitting there wondering whether or not another grand final is lost to their side. They have got to defend a corner now as we approach the end of normal time in this first half. And Gold Coast Knights were dangerous last time they were in this position. Another opportunity for them to score before the break and double their advantage. I do have something to say about Olympic conceding 2 goals though in matches, but I'll come to that if and when it happens. 2 minutes added on at the end of the half.
Well, there's a professional teaser, Simon.
Olympic managed to bundle that ball away. It wasn't the best delivery that we've seen from Polyak this season, but there's still 90-odd seconds remaining for Knights to try and muster something. Trophy lurking rather ominously. That's what they're playing for.
I'd always just be paranoid of kicking the ball into it.
Chances would have to be slim, wouldn't they? Ball is hammered forward. Can Olympic get back on level terms before the break? It's a rather looping header, and fortunately for Knights, Banlet can't quite manage to get hold of it.
And just noticing there, Simon, Ludwig, and I think it might have been King, just trying to disrupt the closing down of Shannon Brady off the ball as well, just putting a body in the way, making him take a few extra steps as he tries to chase the ball down.
It's all about positioning, making the body getting away. We see it there from Lockie Sayers, but Pasquale DeVita, it's the 3rd time he's done that trick tonight. This time he loses possession, but a free kick goes against Steve White. And perhaps with 30 seconds remaining of added time, it's Again, it's that fast feet. It's brilliant. It wrong foots White, and he does take a little swipe at him on replay. We'll get a better angle of it here, I think.
That is just frustration. There he's been chasing shadows that he thinks are Pasquale DeVita all night.
And it's telling, actually, that Dan Leck looked more frustrated with White than DeVita there for buying into it. He was suckered into almost doing the splits with the fast feet and then suckered into giving away the free kick, which is taken by Schmidt. And White will usher it away for Olympic as we enter the half-time break, a half-time break in which Ben Khan is going to have to do his absolute utmost to avoid really bringing and buying into the negativity that is coming his way or may well come his team's way. They trail Gold Coast Knights by a 1-0. It was Max Brown who scored it right at the midway point of that first half. An excellent goal from Gold Coast Knights, and they have been the better team over the course of his first 45 minutes, the team that finished second on the ladder.
Yeah, Gold Coast Knights, they've come out, they've stuck to their plan in attack, and it's paid dividends as well with Max Brown's opening goal. Olympic, they've just been frustrated trying to get themselves forward, but when they have, they've just found a brick wall in the form of a Gold Coast Knights backline.
Well, still plenty to play for, of course, in this National Premier League Queensland Grand Final at Perry Park. Gold Coast Knights 1, Olympic 0. We'll be back after these messages.
Felton Industries is proud to be the official shelter and grandstands partner of Football Queensland. Felton offers a range of premium aluminium grandstands, from elite portable spectator seating to soccer team shelters for players and coaches. Give your fans the best view of the game with Felton's comfortable spectator seating. With sun-safe shelters or powder-coated in your team colours. Whatever your club needs, Felton has a high-quality, low-maintenance seating option to suit. We are the pioneers in Australian-made grandstands and team shelters. Contact Felton today on 1800 834 016 or visit felton.net.
Vito Sports pride themselves on delivering top-quality FIFA regulation-compliant goals. Each goal is made from durable, high-density, thick aluminium and then finished in a white powder coat. To provide quick delivery, Vito Sports stock all goals in this range within their Brisbane distribution warehouse, allowing customers to quote, order and deliver in a matter of days. If you'd like to inquire about the Vito Sports goal range, email us at admin@vitosports.com.
Well, welcome back to Perry Park, where Gold Coast Knights lead Olympic by a 0-0. Knights have not beaten Olympic in their last 6 meetings in the National Premier League's Queensland. That includes a semi-final a couple of years ago. In fact, the last time they did beat Olympic was in the grand final of 2019. The goal, when it came, was with the run of play, it has to be said. Max Brown scoring in the 23rd minute of the match. And he was well worth that goal as well, Knights. It's a lovely ball forward.
Just the weight on it from Matt Schmidt as well, Simon. Kicking out DeVita with the nod on.
It was a great finish. It was beautifully worked as well because it isolated the defenders. It split the Olympic centre-backs. It forced Steve White to follow the run of Max Brown. We see a brilliant angle of it here from the sideline cam. You can see the run. That run takes Shelford Dayas out of the game. Matt Mundy, has to come across. Driver is out of position. Steve White too far behind Max Brown. It's a wonderful goal. And again, Knights were well worth what we saw, well worth having that half-time lead.
They certainly were, and they've pushed forward in numbers and created the bulk of the chances in this first half.
Speaking of numbers, brilliant crowd in at Perry Park this evening. Hopefully we'll be able to get a crowd number for you at some point. But needless to say, the atmosphere is absolutely rocking, and a man who'll be able to tell us a lot more about that is Campbell Johnson, and he has a special guest sideline at Perry Park.
Simon, we do have a special guest here, Matt Smith, former Brisbane Roar captain and current GM, just got announced last week. But firstly, this atmosphere, this night, how great an occasion is this?
Grand final is always fantastic. It's great to see Olympic and Gold Coast Knight bring out some really good numbers. I'm up behind the main goal behind us, and it's very electric. So I'm pleased there's a goal in the game because the fans certainly right into it.
Yeah, and one goal in it, Max Brown scoring. What have you made of the game so far?
Well, I think the Knights actually have played the better football in the first half. I think that they most definitely deserved their lead. Well taken goal by Max. He probably got a little bit of a bobble on there, but it was a great through ball over the top. Bit of a second phase, and look, I think that between White and Driver, they kind of let Max go through. So there's always games like this of always fine margins. Speaking of which, there was Ludwig that had the header towards the end of the first half again, so it's a great save as well. But I think the Olympic would be disappointed to concede that goal. I think they could have certainly not prevented it or avoided it, but I think that when they look back, they'll be like, there's something definitely that they could have done better.
Shelford Dayas saving that one right on the line towards the back end, saving it from being two. A game that was in fine margins as well, 2019 grand final. Yourself, you were playing in it for Gold Coast Knights. How was that game, and how big are these occasions in an NPL grand final here at Perry Park?
Yeah, I mean, even with that Ludwig one there, I think Lockie Sayers was picking up on the corner. Now, Lockie's a fantastic player, but Ludwig's very, very good in the air. So I noticed following that corner, I think Driver or Leg picked him up. So, but look, a couple of years ago, the grand final here, myself against Olympic, we won 2-1 that day in a very close encounter. We had a player sent off late on first half. I'm expecting Olympic to come out now second half and really take it to Gold Coast Knights. That's what I'd expect as a player. That's also what I expect from a coach. So it tees it up for a very enjoyable second half.
There's plenty for Olympic to do. Firepower on the bench as well. Zach Kierpau has got 18 goals in the league this season. Can him or some other players on the bench really impact that for Olympic and perhaps get them back into the game?
Yeah, you saw his impact off the bench against Lions last week. Come on and got them the winner. So I don't think it'd be too long. I think maybe 15 minutes will probably go by, see how Ben comes out second half, but I would be surprised if Kierpau comes on. He's a great striker. He's scored many goals this season, so I expect that'll be the first change.
And you were announced as GM, a new GM at Brisbane Roar, your former club. Big project moving, some great games coming to Suncorp early this year. How great of a project are you planning to build, and how exciting is this for you?
Oh, look, I'm very, very proud to be back at Brisbane Roar. Obviously, I've got a very good history there. The club's heading in a new direction, and I'm part of a new team coming in to help try and rebuild the club, and obviously try and create that the environment, the atmosphere, and the future way forward, right? So to be back at Suncorp's, a great first step. First game's coming up in a couple of weeks, so I have great memories there of tens of thousands of people there. So hopefully for the opening game, we can see a great sea of orange.
Make sure you get your tickets to that one. Some great memories in the past at Suncorp for the Brisbane Roar, and plenty more to come. Make sure you stay around for the second half here in the NPL Grand Final for 2022. Plenty more action to come.
Touching on that, so this season, Austin, we'll start with you. You had a bit of a disappointing year last year, finishing sixth. There was a bit of a sort of turbulent time there for Knights, and not quite to where you would like to be, you'd say. But I finished second this year. Had a great season behind the Premier's Lions. How would you describe this year for you?
Yeah, this year's been better. Obviously, we were very disappointed last year. 6 just wasn't good enough, not with the club standards. It was a bit of a stop-start year with COVID, coaching staff and things like that. So not an excuse, but we were disappointed, and then we kind of just said, we wanted to go win it all this year and go for that first place. So, I mean, it's a testament to the standards that the club has that we're disappointed that we finished second and we weren't really pushing Lions as much as we would have liked to come the end of the year. But still second place, getting that home semi is a good thing for the club. But again, we've won that now, moving on and onto the big one. But yeah, this season's been a lot better, definitely, and it's kind of what we aim for. Bit disappointing not to go further, but yeah, we're in the grand final now, so can't really complain about that.
Yeah, and you've had some good signings as well. Like not only at the start of the year with people like Pasquale Vita, etc., but then also mid-season with Anthony Polyak as well. How have they been to really sort of help bolster the squad there?
Yeah, the squad looks a lot different than it did last year. So the signings that Scotty was able to bring in early in the year, and then in the mid-season window, we had a few players move on and come to us, and I think that really helped us for this back end of the season, and the squad's in a good place, and I think just the group all together, the players have really helped. So it's been really good. Yeah,
great. And Steve, another year, another finals appearance. It's 5 in a row. You've had a bit of a rollercoaster year, like some results not quite going your way.
Welcome back to Perry Park, a massive second half to come. A lot of work for Olympic to do as they head into the halftime break. Down by a goal thanks to Max Brown. This is what they're playing for tonight in the NPL Grand Final here in 2022. It's a rematch of the 2019 Grand Final, and it's been a fiery first half. There's so much action to come here at Perry Park, and there's even more action coming to Queensland later in the year. The Brisbane Roar are returning to Suncorp. There's all sorts of ticket packages available, so make sure you head to brisbaneroar.com to get your tickets to that 5-game membership as well. Make sure you get to the Cauldron to soak in that atmosphere, and there's a brilliant atmosphere here at Perry Park as well. All sorts of fans going off, having a great time here in Bowen Hills on this Saturday evening. So much to come, and a massive second half just coming forward.
Yeah, thanks Cam. Has been an interesting first half. Gold Coast Knights is far superior at the moment. They do lead by a goal to nil. I did tease that I had a statistic about conceding 2. We didn't get that in the first half, but I might as well tell you anyway. Olympic have conceded 2 goals this season 7 times. They're undefeated when they do so. 5 wins and 2 draws. It's an incredible statistic, really. If they concede 3, they draw 1 and lost 2. If they concede more than 4, they've lost both of them. But when it's conceding 2, Olympic are very much in the game. They have lost a couple of games by a goal to nil as well over the course of the season. The Gold Coast Knights, on the other hand, they've only conceded more than 1 goal in a game 7 times this year. 5 times it's been 2 goals. They've not won a game when they've conceded 2 goals. They won the only game they conceded 3 goals in. It was the season opener against Lions. A frankly ridiculous game. 6 goals to 3 they won that one in one of the most remarkable openings to an NPL season I can remember. And they did lose the only game they have conceded 4 in against Olympic. 4-1. There you go, that's my stat. That's pretty much all I've got for this half-time. No, it's been an excellent half. And look, everybody is just waiting, eager anticipation for this second half to begin. The Gold Coast Knights will be certainly the happier of the two sets of supporters. And this is the reason why.
We've got the goal here, Matt Schmidt, pass from Austin Ludwig, and just a beautifully weighted ball, splitting the two defenders for Davida to nod on for Max Brown. He made no mistake, burying it past Lockie Hunter. And just from this angle as well, you can just see how well weighted that ball was from Matt Schmidt. And the run from Davida as well, just finding that pocket of space between the right back and the centre back. Just right across the chest of Lockie Hunter as well. A great finish. And I've got to say, Simon, that stat was well worth the tease as well. Because normally when you think of 2 goals in a finals game, that is the magic number. So I assume Scott McDonald will have said, you know, job's not done. Let's go out, get another goal, and make sure that this is, put beyond doubt, and we're not leaving things to chance in the final few minutes. Whereas Olympic, well, they can reference the game we did just before this as well, the FQPL Grand Final.
Haven't mentioned the pitch much in the first half. I've heard from a man who was the hero in the Grand Final back in 2017, Cam Crestani, said that the pitch isn't helping Olympic style of play. Now, Knights have had their own pitch issues this year. Goodwin Park is normally a pretty pristine surface to play on. Do you think that's having an impact?
It has to. I mean, if you're used to playing on a pitch that isn't always perfect, and well, sometimes Croatian Sports Centre looks absolutely perfect, but there are times, that's postponed the semi-final from Saturday to Sunday last week. The grounds crew got the pitch to a playable level, but if you are used to finding ways to work around the surface, that can make all the difference.
Olympic, Palm Beach, Moreton Bay United, Redlands United, Western Pride, Lions, Gold Coast Knights, Lions. Who's next? We'll find out in the next 45 minutes, or maybe even more, as we're underway in the second half. And it is Olympic getting us underway, kicking from right to left in their blue change strip. They are in the change strip because they finished 4th, the 6th team to reach the grand final from 4th. 3 of those have gone on to win the title. Redlands United in 2016 and Lions in the last 2 years. Good run there to open the second half. Olympic instantly on the attack. It was Shannon Brady who made that run. Made a couple of Knights defenders sit down as he went past them as well. And they're going to need to come out firing, aren't they, Olympic? But Knights are going to have to be careful as well. There's a player down in back players. Knights continue their run. Here's Martin. He has an option outside of him. Martin might go himself. That was going hopelessly wide, I think. But Lockie Sayers was on hand anyway, and it took a block from the former Brisbane City man. But dispossessed is Okada. Max Brown with a shot, the goal scorer. Now Martin again. None of Knights' recognised strikers in action at the moment, but a free kick is given against Takeru Okada, and I think it's fair enough as well. The hand clearly out from the Japanese star.
I think that was a little bit of an agricultural school of defending as well as Martin. Well, he's looking like he's enjoying the grand final experience with Gold Coast Knights, and this is asking pretty dangerous questions of Olympic when you've got Ante Poljak, who is just so deadly from a dead ball.
Silence man James Coughlin with you on call. Campbell Johnson is sidelined for us. We see this free kick. Anthony Poljak standing over it. 2 men in the wall.
Just look at the way Hunter's standing. It might be open for a shot here.
He's inviting that opportunity, isn't he? He has gone for goal, and you spotted it, James. It's gone sailing over the crossbar. Anthony Poljak couldn't resist the dangling morsel in front of his nose. In the end, he couldn't get through the wrapper.
Olympic, as we saw You know, a little bit of a nervous moment playing out from the back in the first half. Steve White caught in possession, but a little bit of a cleaner exit from their defensive third this time.
It's nice from Kumineo just to completely change the angle, and well, there's a couple of options on the right for Olympic. One of those is Shelford Dias. Brady's made a run, Dias continued his. Oh, that's a nice little spin move from Dan Leck, who was yellow carded in the first half for an off-the-ball incident with Tyson Martin that left Martin on the ground clutching the back of his head.
It's a diplomatic phrasing, Simon. Football incident.
Well, we didn't actually see it, did we? The camera was just a little bit out for us. Those bodily surface, you do get nervous when goalkeepers are asked to clear the ball as it's heading towards goal. It'll be the first time we've seen a ball bobble over a goalkeeper's foot. Didn't happen on that occasion for Josh Langdon. And now Brady trying to link up with Saros, unable to do so. Fury from Tyson Martin as he let that ball go under his step. Here's Dias, diving header from Janiel. Straight to Poljak, who goes down, and eventually the free kick is given. And Steve White has literally been told one more and you're going to be written in a little notebook. Jaden Walker tries to put a cross in. Kumineo can't quite get hold of it. A little bit of a lull at the start of this second half. You sense it in the crowd. It's always this sort of case once everyone's sort of the fervour of the atmosphere has sort of been eased out over the course of that 15-minute interval. Not even the appearance of Matt Smith could change that for this crowd.
Could still be lining up for food, possibly.
I can empathise with them. Here's Kumineo, raking crossfield ball. It's asking for Shannon Brady to put his foot on the gas, but a bit of a misfire, and the ball is comfortably in the arms of Josh Langdon. Dishes it out pretty quickly to Janiel. Which team's going to take this second half by the scruff of the neck as Max Brown goes forward? He had four players congregate around him. Pasquale De Vita is dispossessed by Shelford Dias, who's been really good tonight defensively. Turnover there from Saros, trying to maze his way through was King. It's a popular search term at the moment.
You mentioned Dias, he's been huge defensively. He had that clearance off the line. That's a beautiful tackle.
That's a brilliant tackle first up from Walker, and he's done really well. Okada a little bit frustrating, brewing for him, and yeah, Jaden Walker, he had a good first half. We were talking about the number twos. We already mentioned Shelford Dias. This is a superb tackle. Let's have a look at this timing again.
And a lot of the good stuff we've seen from Jaden Walker was just predominantly going forward, but that just shows how strong he can be at the back for Gold Coast Knights.
Throw in an attacking position. Campbell Johnson is sidelined for us at Perry Park. Campbell, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Jaden Walker, obviously such a fixture of the NPL, especially for Gold Coast Knights. He's been such a great servant for them over recent years. He's done so well down this left-hand side. It's a battle of the right-backs at the moment, as things are getting a little bit fiery behind us as well. The fence is holding the active support back, certainly getting a workout today.
Yeah, it might be worth keeping an eye on that. We've had a couple of incidents across the country in recent months with fences not quite holding. Hate to see something like that happen here this evening. A moment of ecstasy turned into agony for some, but Olympic avoid further punishment as they take the ball out through Kumineo. That's a poor pass, and Okada just flat-footed. And it's just another turnover, and it's just, you'd only have to be 1% off in some of these big games. Olympic, those passes just aren't quite sticking, are they, as Martin comes forward?
The Radars have been a little bit wayward thus far for Olympic when they try and play their way out. And when they had their chance, they made it count.
Martin did really well then. Keeps the ball alive, headed away by Kumineo. Walker's going to hook this one back in. Martin does well to find Brown. De Vita. De Vita's going to shoot. Deflected on its way through. And Dias on the charge. He's going to have a little run. Finds Leck, and Leck just let that ball get dispossessed by Janiel Da Silva. It's sloppy from Dan Leck.
We do wonder for Leck, he is on the yellow card. How much is, that could be a bit ugly.
Skylar DeVito's thrown himself to the ground. I don't think it was quite as bad as it looked. We might be able to see more on the replay. It was certainly a foul.
It's live, the lunge you could see there.
This isn't that incident. Here's the free kick. It's a good battle. Well, that was probably a foul in any case, and yeah, certainly a little bit of a swipe, but Diaz is not upset with the referee. He might be shouting at him. He's upset that nobody was actually providing an option, probably a little bit upset, but Leck gave the ball away so easily. Daniel Da Silva just flicks the ball on.
And you do wonder with Daniel Leck, he got the yellow card in the first half. Is he just possibly checking?
Oh, tell you what, that's going to be a yellow card.
Ludwig.
Austin Ludwig. Very solid contact made on Steve White. That would have happened right in front of Campbell Johnson, and certainly looks like Steve White really felt the brunt of that challenge. See the replay here. It's a solid collision, and the Olympic bench up in arms as you'd expect. This will give us a good view of the bench reaction. Oh, it's a real solid collision. Bench are furious.
Certainly earned that card. I think maybe just getting a little bit back from Knights. They've held their composure for the most part. It has been Olympic as the aggressors in these sorts of situations.
We did see, and you noticed this, James, Zach Kierpel is getting some instruction. And he will be preparing to come on. That's Akada. Gets to the ball ahead of Janiel Da Silva. Clever from Akada, it's really clever, but that's great defending. And it's that man again, Jaden Walker, coming across. He was covering Janiel Da Silva, who came out and managed to win the goal kick for his team. It's just superb full-back play.
Yeah, just tucking inside Da Silva with the pressure, just forcing that heavy touch from Akada to make sure he got it by Janiel. And it wound up going out for the goal kick as Olympic putting the pressure on high up the pitch.
Long ball downfield, headed away by Mundy. Here's Steve White, showing no ill effects, thankfully, from that heavy challenge from his opposite skipper. Austin Ludwig earned the Knights captain a yellow card. Cross comes in from Saros. Leck was lurking. Janiel Da Silva puts it behind for a corner kick. That's a really good ball.
Is this going to be where we see Ben Kahn going to his bench? So Sion Cuba and Zach Kierpel called on.
And Janiel needed to make that contact, didn't he? It is Zach Kierpel who comes on, the semi-final hero.
Not a bad guy to call on, 15 goals.
Had a good season. And it's his header that goes goalwards. And Walker wanted it to go out of play, but it never got there, so he had to effect the clearance. White, Brady, and now Walker heads out for a throw-in. Scott McDonald barking orders on the sideline.
Saros withdrawn.
Making his way back to the bench now, the Olympic number 12.
I think he's going by the Knights fans by the sounds of it.
Looping ball, an awkward one. Kierpel was under it. Josh Langdon got those long levers up. He now uses the long levers to get the ball to Janiel.
But I was wondering how long it would be before Ben Kahn would call on Zach Kierpel, because while they have been one of the best attacking sides in the NPL this year, they haven't got a lot of reliable goal scorers to call on. When you look at the players in the squad, 15 goals for Kierpel.
Free kick goes against Max Brown for a foul on Dan Driver.
15 goals for Zach Kierpel, 13 goals Shannon Brady, 7 Daniel Leck, and Takeru Okada with 5. Everyone else is on either 1. You've got Saros who had 1, White 1, Deus 1. Everyone else scoreless in the league this season. So they are going to be relying on their big name acquisitions, and this is why they brought in Kearpal from Moreton Bay last year.
He was great for Moreton Bay United up at Water Park last year, and he's been great for Olympic at Goodwin Park this. Battling there. It's Leck who lost possession initially. Shannon Brady losing out on the edge of the penalty area. Pasquale De Vita can't keep the ball in though.
Look at the positioning of Kearpal as well. He's probably just going to take up that target man role to get me the ball and I'll make something happen.
He made something happen to get Olympic to this stage of the competition. He's linking up there with Okada. Deus couldn't latch onto the end of that one. He's intercepted by Schmidt. Leck linking up now with Sayers. Now Deus. Now Okada. Now Deus again. Kearpal is dispossessed, hammered away by and up to Polyak. Polyak, 3 Olympic players surrounding him. And it's Olympic with the initiative now. It's a good tackle from Polyak, and Brown frees Pasquale De Vita over on the far side of the field. And now he goes up and takes away Shelford Deus, who makes another really good challenge on the recovery, and it needed to be made because otherwise Pasquale De Vita was going to be bearing down on the edge of the penalty area, and there were plenty of Gold Coast Knights in support.
And you have to give Deus credit as well. Some have questioned his defensive nous, but he has been really, really good tonight. And I can't think of a time he's really put, outside of the goal, he's put a foot wrong.
He's been excellent, and part of the goal was that it was just an excellent ball. It'll be interesting to hear what Matt Smith thinks where Olympic could have made those changes. It did look like it was one of those situations that just developed naturally on a field, but I've had the pleasure of sitting alongside Matt Smith during a couple of games that he's not been involved with directly, and tactically it's very interesting listening to him talk about the game and about the way teams do end up making themselves in that position, as you'd expect from a man who has just led his team to a 5th place finish in the National Premier League Queensland after an undefeated season the year before.
And City, you know, out of the rest of the sides, they'll probably finish the season on a massive hot streak, maybe the most informed team.
Especially given the form of these two teams, which wasn't exactly electric heading into the finale. Yes, Kumanao can't keep that ball out, and it will be a corner kick. I mean, in terms of Gold Coast Knights, they've got the best defence in the competition. They've only conceded 27 goals, but they conceded 2 goals in 5 games, all in the last 9 matches. So the defence has sort of started to slack a little bit in the last few weeks. Lost their last 2 home and away matches before beating Peninsula Power. That was admittedly after a run of 7 games without defeat. Ball is played into the middle. It was Mundy, I think, who managed to get the final touch and hammer the ball away for a throw-in. And this is a spell of pressure that Gold Coast Knights will hope leads to a second goal.
Knights now just starting to maybe get a bit more of a foothold. They rode out the initial surge from the introduction of Kearpal.
Now they're going to try and double their advantage, perhaps.
Walker finds Brown. Brown gets a cross in. Driver did really well. Find Okada. Space for Steve White. And now for Kumanao to run into. Closed down by Phil Lassen. Nice touch from Leck to Okada. Okada has a brilliant ball. It was expertly cut out by the skipper, Austin Ludwig. Clearance only as far as Lockie Sayers. Assesses his option. Leck wasn't the right one, so he goes to Okada. Olympic just showing they are still a threat. Here's Okada, Kumanao on the outside. A lot of space for Kumanao. Closed down by Walker. Back to Okada, a long way from goal. Players to driver. Olympic forced back, but crucially retained possession. Steve White tells Matt Mundy, give it to me, please.
Maybe he didn't say please.
Perhaps not. Still waiting. In the end, it's Shelford Dias though. Dias has gone round the outside. It's excellent work from Shelford Dias. Linking up there with Brady. Flag stays down. Dias on the edge of the penalty area. Closed down by Max Brown. Leck wants it. White still has his hands up. Now he finally gets the ball and launches a shot, and well, perhaps he should have kept his hand down.
It's a little bit too much time to think about that one and read the play, hang on to it, and maybe we haven't mentioned the bobble too much for this game, and it does look like it might have caught him out a little bit there, as you can just see it bouncing up on the surface, and there it is, that bounce right before he struck it, and keep that under the crossbar.
Well, the atmosphere does sound electric at Perry Park, and Campbell Johnson has decided to go and have a look, a little bit closer, a closer look at how the crowd is. Cam.
Yeah, I've snuck into the crowd here. Everyone's going, it's a good atmosphere, few players and stuff about. It's really getting lively and enjoying the game so far.
Hey mate, have a great time. It's been a real one-way contest. I think like Gold Coast has dominated the match. I think Olympic are hanging on by a fucking thread, mate.
Well, more to come in the rest of the game. Great atmosphere up here though.
Apologies if you are offended by the language from our correspondent in the crowd. His view is that Knights have had the upper hand in this match, and it's hard to disagree, although I'm not entirely sure I agree with the last bit.
It's a fairly assertive phrasing, but it has been Knights in the ascendancy, but Olympic, it does seem like they're starting to try and assert themselves a little bit more going forward.
Both teams have lost 2 games by a goal to nil this season. But you do get a sense that there will be more goals. Knights are only the 6th highest scorers in the competition this year with 44, so just averaging about 2 a game. Exactly 2 a game, in fact. Olympic is second best. Long way behind Lions, but 54 goals for them.
Nick Mirkovic getting a talking to on the bench, looking like he'll make his way in before too long.
Mirkovic, who played 14 games this season, had a bit of an absence in the mid-season. Of course, highly successful businessman, so has other interests outside of football. I imagine it would have been pretty hard to keep him away, no matter what else was on, from a grand final, and an opportunity to play in a grand final for Gold Coast Knights for Nikola Mirkovic, and he may well be about to enter the fray as that ball goes a little bit too long, and it might be the fact that Jaden Walker has got a little bit of an injury, because he's sat himself down now. The referee is obligated to stop, especially as Gold Coast Knights are making a substitution to remove Jaden Walker from play.
Well, he did leave after about half an hour last week in the semi-final. Maybe he's carried that for as long as he can, and through 65 minutes, I have to say, he's been probably my player of the match.
He's been very, very good. See if it was a particular incident. I don't think it was, and he's been on that sideline now for, of course, this entire half. Players are getting some instructions. Sean Lane giving some instructions there on the Gold Coast Knights bench. His assistant to Scott McDonald, who's in close conversation with Jean-Philippe Lassam. And there it is. Nikola Mirkovic on for Jaden Walker, a like-for-like replacement at the back, so no tactical switch yet from Gold Coast Knights to accommodate the move from Ben Khan. We brought on Zach Kierpel, slightly more of a target man than Kostas Saros. I say slightly because he's got a lot more to his game than just that. Zach Kierpel, as he showed so many times over the course of the season, but it is a slightly different dynamic up front now for Olympic, and they have worked their way back into play now as Kumaneo gets on the ball on this near sideline. Puts a decent cross in.
Just a bit more of that physical presence, maybe willing to throw his body around a little bit more and just battle physically with the centre-backs who aren't afraid of a bit of a battle themselves.
Yeah, it was aimed towards Zach Kierpool, that ballless Pasquale De Vita skips his way past a challenge, gets the ball upfield to Nikola Mirkovic. Can't thread the needle through. Olympic will come away with it. Mirkovic playing slightly higher up.
Just trying to work out, Simon. I think it might be Tyson Martin slotting into that right side of defence.
Well, he is accustomed to playing there. He does drop back and play there fairly regularly.
Looks like he's playing a little bit of a hybrid role there. Huge in the centre of the park for them.
De Vita with countless step-overs and then a little flick straight onto the chest of Ricardo, which is probably not how he imagined that move ending. Leck lets the ball do the work, and he does it really well because here's Shannon Brady. Kierpool was on his own. If that ball had got through to him, Daniel Da Silva made sure that it didn't. Nice idea from Shannon Brady.
Brady just trying to thread the needle there, and you could see, from a mile away what he was thinking, and it just didn't quite work. Another desperation lunge from the Gold Coast Knights defence. They have been just immense in those last-ditch lunges to just get a boot in.
Well, last-ditch lunges tend to mean that you're slightly out of position, don't they? So it was a very good pass, but warning signs for Gold Coast Knights, who have a one-goal lead. Chipped over the top by Okada. Deflection really wants to fall to an Olympic player on the edge of the penalty area, but just doesn't. Leading with the arm, perhaps, was Polyak. Free kick goes the way of Steve White and Olympic. Sayers goes back to Mundy. Crowd is still lively, but there's an undercurrent of tension in the air around Perry Park now. 20 minutes remaining. Dash with an exquisite chip over the top, headed away by Schmidt. Lassen playing in his 5th straight grand final. First, though, for Gold Coast Knights. Pasquale De Vita tries to bundle his way through, and is in fact bundled out of play by Matt Mundy.
I don't know how many times we can say it. When De Vita's on the ball, something is going to happen. It might not always be what he's planned, but something happens.
Seeing Cuba is readying himself, another attacking option, yet to score a goal so far this season for Olympics in Cuba, but is of course a former Gold Coast Knight, having made the switch somewhat controversially from Gold Coast United.
He was playing in Uruguay recently as well.
Matt Mundy thinks that Polyak just kicked him after being fouled. Much ado about nothing, but Polyak is certainly putting himself in a position. Let's have another look at the replay. It was after the foul that it happened. It was certainly a free kick. Oh, there was a little flick of the foot there from Anthony Polyak.
A little bit of a tap there with the foot, but that is a big risk to take as well.
20 minutes to go in a grand final, your team leading by 1-0 and a free kick in a position that you should really fancy as a set-piece specialist. You do wonder what goes through the players' minds at time. Perhaps not much, just a drive to win. Here is Polyak, 2 men in the wall, they both jump, it's goalwards! It's saved by Lockie Hunter.
And that was all made by the positioning of Hunter when that free kick was taken. Well, he was right in the centre of the goal, making sure he could cover both posts.
Good keeper, Lockie Hunter. Ben Kahn is furious about something. De Vita with 2 very different blocks. It still ends up at the feet of Lockie Sayers, and now at the feet of Zach Kierpool going forward. Kierpool plays the ball behind Dan Leck, though. Phil Lassen is bundled off the ball by Shelford Deas. Keep an eye on that battle between those 2 players. It's been a good one all night. Polyak bearing down on Sayers. Leck now. Dias gets the 1-2 from Brady, but guess who's there to intercept? It's always Phil Lassen. No way through there that time for Pasquale De Vita. And flat-footed allows Steve White just to pick up possession. Free kick goes against Nikola Mirkovic for the foul on Takiro Okada. Sean Lane barking out instructions from the bench of Gold Coast Knights. And I think that was Okada's last involvement. He is making his way off the field, and so too is Brandon Kumineo, is that? I think it is, and it is a double substitution. It's Taira Yoshimura who comes on, and so too Cian Cuba. Straighting afternoon, and then at the back post, it was Cian Cuba with his first touch, hitting the side netting. What an introduction that would have been.
And it almost looked like Knights forgot that he'd been substituted on. He just ghosted into the back post, and Cuba, oh so close to levelling the grand final. So you see that free kick before from Polyak as well. Hunter getting across quickly. And that chance for Cuba just escaped the marking of Polyak.
No, it was Polyak. It was a little bit lazy from Polyak. Look, he didn't follow the runner at all. He was behind him. And he would have breathed a huge sigh of relief that that ball didn't find its way to the back of the net. Shimura with the long ball towards Cuba. Headed away and gathered by Mirkovic. Mirkovic continued his run, but shadowed by Yoshimura. That's the instruction from the Olympic faithful. Get it in the box. Is what I'm choosing to interpret that as.
White.
Pasquale De Vita. Latching onto the ball from Polyak. Never had it under his control, though, the Italian. And now Dias with another burst of speed. How about that for the fitness of Shelford Dias? Twisting and turning inside and out. Here's Kierpel. On the inside is Leck. Ball never got to him. Leck. Kierpel tried to chest it back inside, ended up getting it straight back to Leck. Olympic retained possession. Cuba's dispossessed by Martin.
You think about the introduction of Cuba as well, just it gives him another presence at set pieces as well. We know how well he can hit those free kicks, and if they get one in a dangerous area, that's probably his territory.
It's actually an Olympic throw-in. Steve White in possession. Sayers. Shimura with the touch inside, the attacking touch inside. The ball too long though, Josh Langdon is going to gobble those up all evening.
Nothing stands out to me so far tonight.
Polyak goes in hard. Sorry, James.
Oh, that understandable.
Sayers looks to be okay.
If a little bit perplexed.
Could be a free kick to Olympic. Sorry, James, you were saying.
If there's one thing that stands out to me so far, it's Knights have found a way tonight. We know the surface isn't perfect, but Knights have risen to the occasion and they've found a way to make it work for them. Olympic, still just a couple of wayward passes. Only a couple of real chances, but it could be in again here.
The worst thing Knights could do now is just to let and invite the pressure, because Olympic will bring that pressure, and we have seen already in this final series that they are not ones to give up and go down without a fight. Sayers picks up the loose pass. Another turnover in midfield. Cuba tries to find Kierpel, either Kierpel or Brady, didn't find either of them in the end, and Pasquale De Vita's going to try and go round Dias, who nonchalantly made the tackle, and then rather nonchalantly gets done with the side-footed effort from the Italian, and it's Tyson Martin going forward again. On the outside is Mirkovic. Mirkovic with the good cross. Driver heads that away, and then Cuba helps it over the sideline. And Khan is running out of time. $4,315, I think I heard, over the Tannoy, which is a very healthy number. It's helped contribute to what has been a fantastic atmosphere and a brilliant occasion at Perry Park.
And that has been bolstered by the supporters that have made the trek to Perry Park. It's now the regular home of these grand finals again. And we should pay tribute as well to the travelling Rochdale and Redlands fans who packed it out for the grand final earlier this afternoon in the FQPL 1 competition.
That's right, a dramatic come-from-behind victory for Redlands United in that one. They trailed 2-0 at half-time. That's one a free kick, Mirkovic in particular, but I don't think he's going to get one. And this is why. Not for me, Clive. Driver. White. Yoshimura. Driver again. Driver got hit late. Advantage is being played. No, now they're going to come back for the free kick. That is very good refereeing from Zach Keenan.
And that's all you want in those situations as well. Clear signal for an advantage. Olympic unable to take it there. And it was Polyak again. And the fouls are starting to rack up by the Knights number 11.
They sure are. Olympic opt not to put the ball into the box. Oh, Sayers with the hit. It wasn't a bad one either. Hasn't scored yet this season for Olympic. From memory, didn't score too many for Brisbane City either, but that was a decently struck effort from a long way out, and why not at this stage of the match?
I think he caught a little bit of the turf just before he hit it as well, which gave it a top spin that caused it to dip down right in front of Josh Langdon.
It was a save you'd expect Langdon to make, and yet it was still an awkward ball that was coming towards him.
Yeah, one that he had to track all the way into his hands as well, and he hasn't been called on to make many straight saves, Josh Langdon, but when he has, whoops.
DeVita over the top to Polyak, and Polyak is just dispossessed very comfortably by Yoshimura. Did very well, the Japanese fullback.
We're just saying the concentration of Josh Langdon as well as he comes back there, track the ball into his hands and take it cleanly.
DeVita.
Update on the attendance, that's
not quite what I heard.
Near enough to. Pretty sure I know
some combination of those numbers anyway.
I'm pretty sure I know someone who lives in that postcode.
Good Queensland postcode for a Queensland grand final. Gold Coast Knights leading it by a goal to nil as we approach the final 10 minutes. Polyak! Long, long way wide with his effort.
His chances just still starting to stack up for Knights. They're not as aggressive in attack as well, but when they get the ball in the attacking third, they're still pushing and trying to get the insurance goal.
Apologies to Anthony Polyak. That was Max King who hit that effort, so apologies for the entire Polyak family for denigrating his name with that effort. Kearpul, strength from Kearpul, equalled and matched and bettered by Phil Lassen, who is brought down late afterwards, and Kearpul's going to get a yellow card. And a justifiable one too.
And he can argue all he wants, but not so subtle pullback either.
Lassen must end every single match covered in bruises just because of the way he plays, just because of the job that he does in that midfield.
And he's not a dirty player, but he does the dirty work for his team. Like, they're battling with the opposition striker who, I'd say, has a good head on him in terms of height. Score one for the short guys.
Mundy leapt early, speaking of the short guys, getting up over the head of Anthony Polyak. 8 minutes. 8 minutes stand between Olympic and the 6th grand final loss in a row. They're not all consecutive. 5 of them are, though. And a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area now.
And you do wonder, for the guys that have been there for the last 5 as well, how much is that playing on their minds?
And a fair few of them have. A fair few of them have been involved in a lot of these. Steve White's been involved with a few. Dan Leck's been involved with a few. There's a few newcomers with the Kumaneos. They've both been involved in all. And of course, Ben Khan has too. Free kick. In a dangerous position. 3 men in the wall. Polyak's going to deliver it. Who's going to get a touch? Nobody. Cam Johnson, what can you tell us from the sideline with just moments remaining in this grand final?
Yeah, you were mentioning there just before, Simon, the amount of players and staff that have been along for the ride at Olympic. 5 straight grand finals since Ben Khan came into the club. Every single season, Steve White's been there for every single season, and the desperation is setting in. You can see they need this one, but they have to find this result. They have to find an equaliser somewhere, and at the moment, it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Here's Mirkovic, here's Polyak in the penalty area. It's a brilliant tackle by Driver. Polyak's gone to ground. Driver's told him in no uncertain terms to get up.
Just beautiful tackle there by Driver.
It was superb.
He had to get that right, and he did.
It was a lovely run as well, too, from Nikola Mirkovic. And apologies, Cam, for cutting you off there with the mazy run, but the desperation is coming in. Will that translate to an opportunity here for Zach Kearple, who goes down? And he thought about appealing for a penalty, but he got up pretty quickly.
Yeah, we're still trying to work out where the ball was, because you can just see this beautiful run by Mirkovic. Polyak just a touch trying to take it away from Driver, but okay, tackle, tell him to get up.
Cuba battling with Lassen. White. Mundy. Mundy got that one wrong. There might have been a bobble on the pitch. We'll give Matt Mundy the benefit of the doubt.
Scary to think of Matt Mundy as the experienced veteran. I remember when he was coming through for the Raw. Feels like yesterday, but it was 2008, 2009.
35 years old now.
No, he's not.
Been an Olympic since 2015. Substitution.
Say is off.
Georgie Meacock is on, just his 3rd appearance in the senior team. Former Eastern Suburbs junior, has played 19 games for the under-23s and 5 for the under-18s. So one of the new breed coming through at Olympic. Ricky Sayers makes way for him. The veteran 22-year-old. I'm being facetious. He's had a fair career. Lockie Sayers, been involved with Brisbane City for a long time, had a nasty injury, part of a very successful youth setup at Brisbane City over the course of 5 years ago. Did have injury troubles, but good to see him out playing. But at the moment he's going to be on the runner-up side in this grand final. Urgency, dispossessed. Polyak now has support alongside him. Polyak's going to go himself, bobbling effort.
There's never enough power on it to really cause too much of a headache for Hunter.
Free kick against Shelford Deas. Sorry, apologies, against Phil Lassen, and a couple of free kicks now, and a yellow card being shown.
That's King. Bounce out here on this far side over the top of Leck.
Chest of Shelford Deas. Cuts inside one, cuts inside another, Shelford Dias, and a third. Why not Shelford Dias? Oh, he wants the return pass from Cuba, but the ball gets caught in the feet of Janiel da Silva and hammered away upfield to Pasquale De Vita, but tracking back was Dan Leck, and now Olympic are going to come again. Here's White.
The grand final win, it's a mix of skill, execution, and a little bit of good fortune, and the ball just bounced the right way for Knights.
De Vita cuts back inside, brilliant from the Italian. He's going to go on a run now. Mundy's giving chase. Pasquale De Vita to win the grand final for Gold Coast Knights. It's 2-0. It's a second championship for Gold Coast Knights. Pasquale De Vita, the winning goal scorer.
And that is why they brought him down from Southwest Queensland Thunder. A solo effort and a memorable goal in the grand final. Pasquale De Vita, well, I'd say he's worth his weight in gold, the Italian.
An extraordinary run from a man who has been running all game. Those fast feet.
And he just
about as
makes
electric
things...
as those flares are. But yeah, you're right, James, you've been saying it all game.
He makes things happen, and in this case, he has delivered for Scott McDonald and the Gold Coast Knights.
Picked up the ball inside his own half, cuts inside Steve White, cuts inside Matt Mundy, and then it's a foot race. Coming across is Yoshimura, who's never able to get there one-on-one from the edge of the penalty area. Pasquale De Vita, take a bow and celebrate yourself as a National Premier League Queensland Championship winner.
And what a way to finish the season as well for De Vita. Came down and just absolutely just delivered.
Spare a thought for Ben Kahn as well.
Ben Kahn, 5 years, 5 grand finals. It's a level of excellence that's almost unmatched. It is unmatched. It's incredible the record that he's had since coming to Olympic after his spell at Central Coast Mariners Academy. But he doesn't have a good record in grand finals. When at Noosa Lions, they got to the grand final, lost to Woombye Snakes back in 2015. Still an opportunity here, though the game's not done. And Shannon Brady is not going to let things lie. He wins a corner for his team. What did we say about Olympic and 2-0 to having 2 goals scored against them? As the flares continue to burn.
The Knights fans look like they're ready to jump onto the pitch.
Goes without saying that Olympic need to score a goal here if they're to have any chance at all. They're not going to have any chance if Janiel da Silva's got anything to say about it. And there's Geordie Meacock, who just hammered that ball away for a goal kick. And Zach Kearpool needs to be careful.
How are Knights feeling about their recruitment of Scott McDonald?
First season in charge as a senior coach, the 39-year-old. 4 minutes will be added on before he can call himself a championship winner in his first season. And maybe that's the pattern. If Knights finish second, they win the title.
We did have a late goal in 2019 as well, so setting up for a grandstand finish perhaps.
Sure did.
Walters from memory?
Colin Walters, and I think there's a Matt Smith is involved in making a slight error from memory. But yeah, Colin Walters it was, good memory.
Thank you for listening, Mr. Smith. That was Simon, not James.
Yeah, as we were saying, continued excellence from Olympic and Ben Kahn. They've been to more grand finals than anyone else in Queensland in the National Premier League era. Ben Kahn has been to more finals, grand finals than anyone any coach has in the National Premier League Queensland era. And yet, at the final hurdle, they've fallen short again.
It's just more heartbreak for Olympic, and you do have to feel a little bit of sympathy for them as well. Just coming back year after year, which I don't have that kind of resilience. That's why I'm a commentator.
It's a tough one to stomach for Olympic and their supporters, and they are backed with significant numbers year in, year out, as Max King was penalised there.
So some of the Redlands coaching staff in the front row of the grandstand on the far side. Making what has been an enthralling contest
the whole 90 minutes.
High quality. On a pitch that has seen better days, it must be said. Both teams have adapted superbly. I'm going to say it, poor touch from Scott McDonald.
Was it a poor touch? Or?
Olympic won't give up. Steve White said it was, we used some pretty descriptive language to describe what it felt like to lose last year's grand final to Lions. And it's going to feel just as bad this time around. I don't think they're too worried though. Gold Coast Knights, after the turmoil of a club that saw them finish 6th last year, which when you consider what most clubs' turmoils look like isn't too bad really.
It's all about perspective really.
Well it is, and when you think this their 3rd finals appearance in 4 seasons, their 2nd successful appearance in a grand final against Olympic. They will become 2-time champions in the National Premier League's Queensland era. Just behind Lions, who have 3.
Just getting their wires crossed, both jumping for that ball, and Knights to regather it.
Flag goes up against Max Brown. It's a nice idea from Polyak. Expect those supporters to explode in about 15 seconds time. Maybe it's less than 15 seconds. Gold Coast Knights are champions of the National Premier League's Queensland. Champions of Queensland for the 2nd time. And it's hard to say they haven't deserved it. The smoke bombs go off in the Gold Coast Knights supporter section. They have been voluminous throughout this entire contest, and well, that's the other side of the coin. More heartbreak, more despair for Ben Khan and Olympic. It's got to be raw and it's got to be hard to deal with, and I just don't know how you do deal with coming up short 5 times in a row.
And well, they've rebounded from it the last 4 years to get back to the grand final, and if Ben Khan is coming back, he will he will know how to get this side ready for round 1 next season. But it is an awful lot of heartbreak for them to overcome. But it has to be said, congratulations Gold Coast Knights. They were superb tonight.
It says a lot about Olympics' perseverance as well and their ability to bounce back, but you're right. Let's credit the champions because, well, they've been excellent all year. Lions have been the standout team this season. I think it's fair to say. They won the league at a canter. They have the most goals. They, one of the best defences. There's a thought actually, and there's a good storyline. Phil Lassam has lost 4 grand finals in a row. Now he's won in his 5th grand final appearance.
Against his former club.
Against his former club and teammates. So there might be some mixed feelings there for Phil Lassam.
You saw him at full time straight away, consoling, I think, maybe Danny Driver. It's got to be a bit of a muted celebration, but I don't think those guys will be all that muted going forward for the rest of the evening.
Don't think. It's going to be a quiet bus on the way down the M1, to be honest with you. And neither should it be. It's a phenomenal achievement for Scott McDonald. A phenomenal achievement for all of the Gold Coast Knights. It's a club that has huge ambitions. They are not just satisfied with being bit part players in the National Premier League. They want to be champions. They want to be winning things. How about that from Josh Langdon? They want to win championships. They want to win premierships. They want to be representing the state of the national stage. And this is a great stepping stone to being able to do that.
And they can enjoy their night tonight as well. 2-0 winners over Olympic FC, and it is the Knights' time. And to see at the front of the screen as well, some of the backroom staff as well at Gold Coast Knights. Jody Dickens, Mark the media manager, they've been so helpful for us as well, and they do a really good job just getting this club up and running all the time.
Fantastic scenes as Gold Coast Knights celebrate in front of their supporters. Although Cam is down there trying to find someone to talk to. And I think he may be squirreling away Austin Ludwig, the skipper. And we'll go down to Campbell Johnson, who is with Gold Coast Knights victorious captain Austin Ludwig.
Lots of passion here, guys, from the Croatian fans. A victorious Austin Ludwig, captain of Gold Coast Knights. If I'd said this to you last year, that you'd be standing here a champion, what would you say?
Look, last year wasn't a good year. We were disappointed as a group, as a club. But I think if you asked me at the start of this year, we knew we had this and we fucking aimed for this. Sorry the language. We aimed for first, we didn't get there, but we knew we'd be here in the final and we'd get it done. So just absolutely buzzing.
Talk to me about your emotions throughout the game, post-game. How exciting is it for you guys?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a big game, a big occasion, but that's why we're all down here. These are the games we want to be in and want to be involved in. So I think scoring early was huge for us, and then we've been good defensively all year and we're able to do that again today. So yeah, just grinded it out to the final whistle and now to celebrate.
Talk to us about the support. It's been brilliant tonight, vocal from both sets, but the Croatian fans here for Gold Coast Knights, how brilliant were they tonight?
Yeah, look, both fans, huge credit to all of them for coming out. The Greek heritage of Olympic and then the Croatian heritage of Knights. I mean, you don't get a better final than that, and you could hear them all night tonight, and I think that got us over the line in the end.
Well, congratulations on the win. Celebrate hard and long into tonight.
So much, mate. Thanks so much.
Campbell Johnson there with Austin Ludwig, the victorious skipper of the 2020 champions, Gold Coast Knights, a team that has built their success on their defence. They managed to keep Olympic from scoring in the grand final for the first time since 2020. Olympic have scored in every other grand final they've been in. And there's the footage that you want to see. Scott McDonald, a first-year coach who's desperate to learn. Everyone at Knights said he's desperate to learn about the process of coaching and about how to be a successful coach. And by any measure possible, things have been going pretty well for him.
That they have, and it's instant dividends. Josh Langdon, another key figure for Knights this evening as well. Phil loves him. Well, he's enjoying it, and not as much as Langdon is. For another NPL Queensland Championship.
Based on that reaction, they'll be marching all the way down the M1 on the euphoria. And it is real euphoria from those Gold Coast Knights players. This is how they became Queensland champions. It was Ludwig with that pass. A brilliant ball from Matt Schmidt over the top. Flick on from Pasquale De Vita, and a sumptuous finish, emphatic from Max Brown. That was in the 23rd minute of the first half. The Gold Coast Knights, well, they've got the best defence in the competition, so you knew any goal that they scored would be crucial. And Olympics defence just weren't quite at the races. And then late on in the second half, Pasquale De Vita decided to grab the game by the scruff of his neck, run 50 metres there or thereabouts, and net the winner, sparking euphoric scenes in the stands from those who've made the trip north from the Gold Coast, and indeed those from the Croatian diaspora here in Brisbane and from further afield, I'm sure. An incredible moment, the second championship for Gold Coast Knights in the National Premier League era. Well, we'll wrap things up from Perry Park. Campbell Johnson on the sideline, James Coughlin alongside me, Simon Smell. All the production team from Double Take who've done such a superb job over the course of the season, bringing you so many live games from across the state. James, just a couple of final observations.
Congratulations, Gold Coast Knights. A thoroughly deserved reward for them, and can't wait for the end of the women's season coming up on FQTV.
That's right, it's not over. There's still a women's final series. You can catch all the details from that at footballqueensland.com.au and across social media. But for now, we'll leave you with these scenes of sheer and utter joy amongst the Gold Coast Knights players. From Campbell Johnson on the sideline, from James Coughlin alongside me, Simon Smell. Good evening. Congratulations to Gold Coast Knights. Commiserations once again to Olympic. Have a safe journey home. And we'll see you again later on for the women's and indeed for men's next season. Good evening.